Parshas Matos Masai. This week in Parshas Matos, the Torah says Ayla Masa B'nai Yisrael, and Rashi says it brings down a mushal from the Medrash that there was a king that took around his son was sick and took him around to many places. And by the end, when the son healed, the king took him around and showed him, look at all the places. Here we slept. Here your head was hurting. Here you had this challenge, and all of this happened for a reason. And this is why Hashem wanted to put in all the stops and all the masuas to reflect with the Yidden on the whole journey of the Midbar. What can we learn of this into our daily lives? Now, everyone has a journey. Everyone starts out as a little baby, a little boy, a little girl, whatever, and you go through your journey. You live here and then you move here and then this happens to you and then you take this job and then you start this and then you stop this then you go to another place. And sometimes when we look back at our past, we don't want to really look into it because we feel a bit silly. 10 years ago I was a car service driver, or just 5 years ago you had to see a picture of me, how fat I was, or all of these all of these looking back to our past journeys. We don't want to look at it. We're kind of ashamed with it. And it happens to be that a path or a journey which a person has is a completely important. Every single step of the way, you cannot skip a step. So if you see the whole path that Eden went in the Midbar, they went here, they went there, and everything was for a reason. You couldn't buy a shortcut, like I want to go from Mitzrayim to Eretz Yisrael in 3 days, and we'll skip the whole noise, the Meraglim and the Misavim and all of these hardships. I just want to skip it. I want to take a shortcut. I want to hire a consultant who's going to show me how I could go skip all of this noise and I could grow much faster. And Hashem tells you, no, this is the exact 42 stops that you had to take, and each stop has its own growth. And sometimes we're at a certain stop, we feel completely trapped. We say, why am I doing this? Why am I driving this? Why am I in this job? Why am I in this situation? Get me out of here as soon as possible. And in reality, we try every way to get out of it, and we're still stuck in that situation. We can't get out of it. This is where we have to stay. And this is part of reality, is part of Hashem's plan. And the only way out of it is to start liking it, to start perceiving it as this is a deliberate. If I can't get out of this stage with common sense, that means that I am meant to be here now. And this is the exact place for me to be. And I need to grow. Growing means that we start handling things we don't like. So we're at a certain stop of our journey and we start resisting it. I don't like this current job. I don't like this current situation. It's crazy. Get me out of here. Now, you could point your ship in different directions because this is part of the Shtadlis to get you to the right, to get you to Eretz Yisrael. The goal was to go from Mitzrayim till Eretz Yisrael. That was the goal from the Eden, but it had a very windy way. And sometimes we also set out on a way. We have our plan. Okay, we'll go here, we'll go there. And then it turns out to be so much more complicated that we have stops, we have setbacks, we're going even backwards. At a certain point, we start feeling like we're even going backwards. And we're like, what? I want to go to Eretz Yisrael. Why am I going backwards towards Mitzrayim? And the reason is everything has its own way. It's very complicated. Sometimes we can't understand it. Most of the times we can't understand it. But we try to understand everything. We try to be in control. That is the power of the human ego. It tries to be in control. It tries to understand everything logically, but the world is bigger than us. The world is bigger. Hashem is bigger than us, way bigger, and the plans are way more complicated and way more multifaceted than we think. That's why Hashem is telling you now, look, I want to show you, these are the 42 stops, these complicated stops. These are the 42 stops that I took you. You didn't understand. While you were on stop number 8, you started resisting. You started kicking and screaming. Let's go back. This doesn't make sense. What do you mean? You took me out of Mitzrayim. We're going to Eretz Yisrael. You're starving me here. I'm in this crazy job, 9 to 7. I don't know what is going on over here. I didn't need this whole thing. Let me get out of this. We start trying to run away of our journey, mid-journey. And once we finish, we come up to Shemayim after 120. It's like going to Eretz Yisrael. So the Nesiv Shulam said that coming to Eretz Yisrael is like when a person gives his neshama back, he comes up and he reunites with Hashem, and he sees the whole journey. He sees the truth of it. And the truth is that every part of the journey is amazing. It's just how much we resist it. We perceive it as something bad. So if we come to a certain place and we start feeling very uncomfortable, or we don't like it, it's not per our ego, per our plan, we start kicking and screaming. And Hashem is standing there on top, and he says, no, this is the stop you need to take, because we're on a certain journey. And that your journey is forming on its own. You don't have to form it. It's going to happen. Everything is forming on its own based on many, many, many factors. I hope this is going to give you inspiration and more eminah and betochen to Hashem, to sort of surrender more into, we are living Hashem's plan. Hashem is setting up the journey for us, and we are just living it as it comes in. It might look like we are creating our own destiny, we are creating our goals, we're making our tasks, but it is not so. It's just a perceived illusion. Have an amazing, amazing Shabbos.